did. The other thing you have to look at coming through from OMG is the itemization they went for. They went for the quick righteous glory, went for a death cap afterwards on Cool. They understood the window in that game, and they're playing much smarter this season than they were last.
Yeah, really slammed that window shut as well by the end of that game. But we are very quickly into our second draft for game number 2 as we've swapped sides there as well. Maokai, Alistair, the ban's there for Snake, so taking that Maokai away from Xiang, a smart choice there. Kalista once again banned away from Crystal this time, actually, sorry. So Uzi kind of taking it away from himself, but we've seen both these carries love to play, and LeBlanc's going to eat another ban.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to go up against LeBlanc in the mid lane there, Cool, and you saw how well he played that Cassiopeia. Once again, if you're going for persistent damage threats in the likes of the Cassiopeia, even Corki does respectable persistent damage, you just don't want the threat of being deleted off the map.
No, you just need to get those assassins away, and Cool, we've seen what his Cassio does in the versus Control Mage matchup there when he played against you, Zoriana. I think just a stronger lane there from Cool. Very good play all around. And Snake, they've got a couple seconds left to decide their final ban here. Only 3 left. I wonder if they want to even consider banning the Cassio away. They banned Azir last time, and they're going to stick to it.
Yeah, so they stuck with the Azir ban coming through there. That actually really surprises me. Maybe Yu's looking to first pick the Cassiopeia and see what Cool has in there, and maybe OMG, they might even look to take it away themselves.
And once again, lots of junglers left open. I believe this was the case last time where we had Gragas versus Rek'Sai. So the jungle pool being left on top, touch lots of mid and AD bans, which I guess given these two teams isn't particularly surprising. Can't really ban out Flandre, so I don't really want to throw bans up there. And OMG has got 5 seconds now to consider their final ban, and it's actually Thresh, interestingly, away from Ella.
Yeah, so don't want to take that one early on in the draft and maybe trying to force Ella back towards the Nautilus, but Flandre, he gets Hecarim.
Yeah, goes straight back to the Hecarim. That was banned in the last series. We talk about Flandre wanting to be more of a carry. More of a carry top laner there. Not quite Yasuo tier, but very strong when he gets farmed.
Yeah, more of an anti-carry, to be honest, when you take that smite, because you stop a lot of the damage coming out, especially if they go something, I was going to say, like Ashe, because that would just be crazy. The mobile carries, historically, even Sivir does struggle against the Hecarim because he doesn't really care about spell shields, things like that. The only way you can get away from Hecarim is over walls, and you really do need the blinks, but Uzi, he's going back towards Sivir. I said it. This is his most impressive AD carry right now for me. I think that he plays Sivir extremely well.
He does. Very aggressive still, like only Uzi can really be, but I like the pickups a lot. Nautilus, Sivir, back to basics here for OMG. Mix it up a little bit. Thresh from Amazing. Look, just that there in game number 1, but with it open here, especially with 2 other major supports banned away, he'll take probably the best one left.
Yeah, it certainly looks to go in on that. And wow, we do have the lock-in from you going Cassiopeia, picks his own champion there. And we have this time them prioritizing the Rek'Sai over the Gragas.
I mean, I think it's fine. Gragas, to me, might be the best jungler to pick, but there's nothing wrong with Rek'Sai at all. Xiang instantly locks in now for the Hecarim matchup, and there's Shui going to get his Gragas.
Yeah, and I think that they will go towards standard lanes right now because they've got the counter pick for Cassiopeia if they want to throw something unique into the mid lane. And OMG, they look to have put together a very solid draft coming through here. They will need to play around the window of the Gnar ultimate coming through there, but they do have some fantastic lockdown CC.
And I saw Morgana flash there. I like her quite a bit in this meta, especially against the likes of Hecarim. Crystal, though, is going to lock in Draven. Ella's going to go back to Janna. And all of a sudden, we have 3 very greedy members from Snake.
Yeah, we certainly do. They need a lot of farm onto their carries right now because with the like of Draven, you need him to get to maybe the 2.5 item marks before he starts really deleting people off the map. Cassiopeia actually does really respectably with low farm, is obviously much better with farm, but does persistent damage, has a very good peeling ultimate as well if he wants to sit on top of the Draven. But it really is about Flandre. He needs to get big enough where he can just get rid of Uzi from every team fight.
He does, and I mean, we've seen Sivir be fairly self-reliant. We'll have decent peel here as well, and Cool, he is going to do it. Takes the Orianna into the reverse matchup now against you.
Yeah, this is where you see confidence coming out of the player. They said, I solo killed you on the mid lane to be able to get a kill down there. Now I'm going to take the champion that you tried to execute against me. Going to run an Ignite as well like you did last game and try and take it back in there. So you now ball in his court.
Yeah.
Typically, we saw it last game. He should win this matchup.
He should, but it is fairly close. It's not really a soft counter at best, I think. And we'll go through the matchups here again. Much more standard this time around as Flandre back on the horse with the Hecarim and Xiang with the Gnar.
Yeah, and we see the Rek'Sai versus a Gragas swapped around this time. Beast prioritizing Rek'Sai there. See whether he goes the Warrior Enchant as well.
Yeah, another reverse matchup here actually is Cassiopeia versus Orianna this time. And our Crystal back on his famous Draven. I actually do like this matchup against Uzi Sivir.
Yeah, I certainly do as well. Draven does really well against Sivir in a 1v1, and that seems to be what they're going for. As we see some disengage, but more importantly, AD on the shield coming out of Ella here against Nautilus. Amazing, had a very good MVP-esque performance game one. See whether he can replicate it.
We'll have to see. And again, it's funny to see players sort of going back to old champions. Sivir certainly came around full circle, and it was Krista that was really punishing him with Draven. So we'll see if he can do it now in a new split.
Yeah, I really am excited to see Crystal play Draven because he goes some funky builds in there. He really does know the champion well. The first time I really respected it was when they took it into IG's like all CC. They had a Vi on the lineup and they were still able to pull it through there. So if any team plays around Draven well, it is Snake. And the way that they play Cassiopeia, they use her as a more of an appealing aspect as well. We talked about Cool's aggressive Cassiopeia. We saw that. Yu does like to sit back a little bit more zone. Still puts out very high damage, but uses the ult in a very defensive way.
He does, but we'll have to find out as we are going to get onto the Rift. And we're back for game number 2 between OMG and Snake. OMG took a blisteringly fast game number 1, and we sort of settled the picks back. We've had a couple of reverse matchups here in this game number 1, and we'll see if Cool can answer back with the mid lane matchup that he just beat you in.
Yeah, so they're going to see whether they can run the reverse in a couple of lanes here, OMG. And, you know, if you want to look how to close out a matchup, probably go check out game 1, because from about 15 minutes to 23, they rapidly accelerated how that game was going to end, traded objectives really well, and the smart play coming out of OMG continues to impress.
It was just great to watch. It was very 2013 OMG for anyone that's been following a scene that long. Just brutally efficient, clearing down people, getting kills with their ultis and CC, and then most importantly, taking objectives and just running with them all the way home.
Yeah, and you know, on the side of Snake, they tried to trade. Flandre was staying in lanes, absorbing farm, trying to knock down turrets as quick as he can. But OMG, fearless. They didn't really care about it. Made them play, Snake play their game, and in the end came out on top in a very quick win.
And as it turns out, we're going to have another lane swap, this time initiated by OMG. So Crystal not going to get his 1v1 match, or 2v2 matchup, sorry, that he might have wanted here, but we'll take out the Krogs, go bottom and start pushing that wave in slowly, catching those axes. Be interesting to see how this develops, as we do have the jungle follow from the top laners as well.
Yeah, and it's funny because maybe we're getting an insight into the mentality of OMG still, because Xiong had the counter pick. He had the Nara into Hecarim, but of course, you don't want to run that Sivir anywhere near Crystal's Draven, and Uzi's voice seems to be a little bit louder in comms because he's the one that got the lane swap.
Yeah, and he I guess, wanted the 2v2 last game, but didn't get it because Snake were the ones that swapped. So and we'll have to see if Uzi especially keeps playing out these early games. See just how much gold he is trying to give himself, or just how much space he's trying to get in the early game. But OMG onto the blue buff now on Snake's side of the map. And again, we're going to have another lane swap, which means we'll jungle vertically once more.
Yeah, and something that I just want to point out quickly for the viewers is the fact that Flandre, he started Wolves and he smoked them. He didn't start Krug or Gromp or something like that for the extra damage. It was all about the Wolf Spirit because they were suspecting that the lane swap was going to come through there and they wanted to be able to see as an early gank coming through onto you.
Yeah, smart stuff here is you feeling a bit of pressure. This is what happened to Cool's Cassio last game. He managed to dodge the gank here, and you will do exactly the same thing. Nice instincts there.
Yeah, just really basic play. Play towards the side of the jungle that actually has your members in it. And, you know, the wave's pushing back towards him. He reversed it nicely off the turret early, so didn't really have to do it here, although they might finally get caught out. No.
No, just fine here. I mean, again, it's dangerous to walk into this side of the map if you're OMG. So Snake will give Beast the blue buff. Flandre helping out there. They've got 2 smites as well. I can see blue pings towards the dragon. So we had about 3.5 minute one for OMG in game number 1. Snake might be looking to replicate the feat.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case as we see Crystal just juggling axes there. Juggling, that's not a word. And they go in.
Draven juggling, maybe. As Beast gets a Praise Seeker down, spots Nautilus there. But Snake, they've done this a couple times in lane swap situations. Break it as fast as you can with a 4-man proxy.
Yeah, so they're just trying to deny as much farm away from the Nara as possible. Keep Xiong down, see how he performs with no farm, because honestly, we saw Flandre do it the whole season long last time around, and they're in an okay position right now as they send even more members back towards this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, Beast again, borrowed, so trying to get a bit of vision down. Uzi, though, on the fast push queen herself at this stage. Siva really chunking down the turret. Crystal doing a respectable job. He actually pushes reasonably well with his axes as well. But Snake are going to be onto the Dragon, and they've got the smites, they've got the man advantage. They'll be able to take the first one this time.
So Siva pushes easier than Draven, definitely, but Draven gets more out of a push because the more axes you're throwing out, the more you're catching. Just gets the adoration stacking up earlier than you would if it was in a neutral lane. So, you know, Draven, he's not the best at shoving out lanes, but he gets a lot out of catching those axes.
I agree. There's a surprising amount of benefits to having the Draven in a 1v2 or a 1v0 situation. We're seeing it now. I mean, Snake's Draven constantly got lane swapped on in the spring split, and Crystal had absolutely no problems as Beast is trying to get some ganks down, but spots off the Gragas there. They're going to go into the turret. Uzi actually cleans it up in the top side as well, and Snake close, but not quite able to take out their turret yet.
Yeah, so Snake have made a smart move here. They swapped... OMG made a smart move. They swapped a gold objective for the non-gold objective in the Dragon and then successfully warded off the turret. Uzi's stuck around for a little while, but if he gets a recall in soon, he will be able to go back into that bottom lane with the BF sword, with the shop coming through, and be able to repel the turret push and get himself an early advantage.
You can see he's got more than enough gold for the BF sword now. He's going to get the shove back in and now look to go home. I mean, a good ward came down there as well, so they've even spotted Flandre now moving up if he wants to either keep the lane deep there in the top side or maybe push it back up. They've got good vision, and once again, OMG find themselves in the lane swap and execute the first 6 or so minutes of the game with aplomb.
Yeah, so if OMG are able to stop this turret from going down, which looks like they can, they've won out this early game fairly significantly just because they've dodged the power spike of the Draven nice and early in the lane, and they get a gold advantage from it.
Good bluff there from Xiang as well, honestly. Just kind of went aggressive, and Shweshwe's on the other side of the map. So you can see Crystal, he got good damage down, but didn't trust himself with Na moving at level 3 straight towards him.
Yeah, exactly right. So riding some of the psychological pressure coming through there, Snake recognizes they wanted the tower, but you know, even just the CC that comes through a Na and a Nautilus, that's just so much lockdown. Don't want to commit to it. They need the shop to come through, and now all of a sudden Uzi can shove out this way.
Good tornado though. Stop Xiang's back, so by a little bit more time for Snake. They can actually see him again, but I don't think they'll be able to get the stop this time. And like you said, Uzi gets his BF sword, runs back down to the bottom side, and they're going to go for another turret here.
Yeah, so they're just looking to shove as much as possible, keep everyone from Snake under-leveled, under-farmed here. And Uzi, that was a cannon creep wave with about 7 minions that he just shoved into the turret. Crystal missed out on all of that, and that's a difference in the lane so far.
I mean, might be missing more as the lane does get shoved again. Crystal, though, has made his way back down as Yu keeps the wave in a good spot and clears out the farm. But you can see much more even this time around. Cool managed to get an edge when he was playing Cassio, but he's kept it nice and neutral on his Orianna.
Yeah, they certainly have, and you know, Cassiopeia players just blow my mind. You saw the efficient kiting of just the creeps back there. Yu was able to keep the wave in such a good position. He's going to shove it up here, cost cool a wave. And you know, it is relatively equal, but Yu's in a much better position this time around.
Yeah, just, you know, being able to neutralize the lane, get his farm down, play safe, not get ganked by the early roam squad that came in. In fact, it's Xiang that might be getting attention as Beast comes in at level 4 to the top side. Flandre's here, but they're going to go in for the gank. Xiang has to dodge it. Good hop will keep him safe, and instead, Flandre at level 6 might think about a dive, maybe just going to go for a push instead.
They're looking for the dive because look how big that creep wave is right now. Xiang going to be held away from about a level of experience. They send Zhuizhui up there to try and help him out, but maybe the damage is done.
Well, Uzi down the bottom, losing the trade there to the Draven. That's the one thing you have to remember. As far as actual all-in trades go, Draven's still going to win.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially with the Janna shield on there. There's just no way that they can successfully trade about that. As I said, Draven doesn't really care about spell shields. He's just going to peg axes at you till the cows come home. And you see right now, he's able to get the lane back in a very favorable position.
Cool roaming down as well. Actually, not poison, I don't think. Just a visual bug there. It's cool. Gets a nice ward down onto the red buff. Level 7 for himself, so ulti ready. Snake finally get the turret down on the bottom side there as well. So it's one apiece now, and turrets are dragging up for Snake, and actually a reasonable gold lead. Snake up about 700 gold.
Yeah, just a little bit more farm coming through there for their top laner, as well as their AD carry starting to make some difference up there. And, you know, Xiang is trying to piece together as much farm as he can, but he's just in an item and level discrepancy. Tends to what happens when you take Smite into lane swaps. You just get a little bit more of that farm early game, and you know, unless you can really start making waves in this mid lane, the game will probably just teeter out and stay farming.
I mean, if they're neutral like this, I think Flandre is just fine securing that farm, even though it will give Xiang a bit more space to catch up. Cool, though, last sitting as best he can under turret, doing a nice job there on the Orianna and keeping nice and close in CS, but we already see some build past Diverging. Cool, looking for Athenes, almost has it done, actually, with his 2 components, and you see the tier there for you, but looks like Abyssal might be coming through. He's got a Negatron cloak completed.
Yeah, and Abyssal is just a really strong item at the moment. I like the fact that when it comes through, it helps out the rest of your team. Cinder Hulk does magic damage, something that's underrated about Abyssal Scepter and why it's really good, because you can guarantee at least someone else on your team is doing AoE magic damage. It's the little things like that that kind of add up in League of Legends sometimes, and you see Uzi, whilst farming very well, wants absolutely nothing to do with Draven.
I mean, he can't fight Crystal at this stage, and you can see the Crystal build seems to be coming online. Bloodthirster first will be back.
Yeah, Bloodthirster, Brutalizer comes up fairly often, Last Whisper's in there as well, Trinity Force.
Because Crystal, I mean, does need a lot of farm, but he's securing some now, and especially if he gets some kills, he's stacked up a lot of adoration already just from the early 10 minutes of the game. You'll see that big goal he pop over when he finally gets a kill, especially if it's first blood, and Crystal sitting pretty now on his Draven.
Yeah, he certainly is, and that's the thing about Draven. You feel like you're keeping him down. Oh, he's equal in CS. We haven't died to him. First team fight happens, he gets a double kill, and you're like, wow. He's the richest man in the world.
Yep, and then just snowballs from there. Gets the 3 items very quickly when he starts snowballing, and you can see he's sort of taken over the bottom side of the lane here as well. We'll have to keep pushing it, wants to keep catching axes, so it's sort of encouraged to auto-attack as much as he can, but Snake playing pretty carefully. In fact, Dragon's back up, and they're lining up very nicely to take their second.
Yeah, and you see that they're focusing bottom a lot now, OMG. They recognize that Uzi, unlike last game where he was very far ahead, is in a position where he needs a little bit more support. So Shui was down there, amazing, always with his AD carry. Snake, they're looking to grab their second dragon. They will get it. You
can see Crystal juggling axes as well. Shui coming in, trying to gank you, but not enough. They're actually coming in. Ulti does come through. That's a very nice play from you. Gets the first blade under the tower. Flandre going to come in to make sure Cool gets cleaned up as well. And it's a classic Flandre teleport. That's 2 for 1 plus the dragon.
Yeah, so they're able to pick it up, and this is the danger against diving use Cassiopeia. We mentioned how he likes to hold his ultimate, turn these ganks around, and he did just that.
Good stuff there coming in for you. Defensively playing to get first blood and then pick up the trade, and Snake going to keep playing a bit more aggressively. This is what we've seen. A lead, when even though it's slim sometimes for Snake, they'll always play the same way, never having an off button. So even if they have just a small lead coming through, it's just better for them with the way they like to play League of Legends.
Yeah, they force a lot.
That's
how I'm going to describe Snake. They push the issue at every single point. They feel that they're even a tiny bit stronger. And, you know, when they are actually stronger, not when they just think they're stronger, it works out very well for them.
It does. And you can see Cinder now for Flandre building in towards his Cinder Hog. Same actually for Beast, so not going to be going for the Warrior that we saw out of Shui, but that might have been a snowball choice at that stage of the game. Items still coming in for everyone. In fact, you look down, it's Abyssal already done for Cassio as well.
Yeah, so Cassio in a very good position, going Abyssal over the fact that could get something like the Archangel stacking even earlier. And, you know, you think it's because extended laning phase going to only be dealing with Gragas and Orianna. Fantastic defensive item, to be honest, going through with that Abyssal Scepter.
And again, just sort of a style thing here between the players. Cool, we saw, got going, got a quick Seraphs, and then started snowballing aboard a Death Cap here. You, much more utility focused, wants to play for his team a bit more, and knows that at this point, Crystal's doing just fine on his Draven. The one thing he wants to do is make sure Draven survives.
Yeah, exactly right. And we see another turret falling down in this bottom lane, so Uzi going to be able to shove that one in as the back came through. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get flanked from behind, but Crystal, he wanted the peak of that Bloodthirster.
He's getting flanked though. Uzi's forced to pop his ulti, spell shield up, but Ella waits it out. Great Noto into the Monsoon as Crystal's going to try and chase him down. Ward down as well. Beast also coming through. Chilling's Might comes in. Uzi pops his heal, but the Draven's in here, and there's going to be the kill.
Yeah, and 1,000 gold for that kill just came through. You saw the 760, and all of a sudden he can go back, start working on that Last Whisper, and oh my god, he just shopped.
Yeah, I mean, he's got almost 1,400 gold already, almost 1,000 gold ahead of Uzi after that kill. The Draven snowball's a very real thing. It's very fitting for the way the champion flavor is, but man, does that passive get you going.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, Freeze, the other really big Draven player in the world right now, said, when asked how good Draven is, he's like, if you are a Draven player, he is the best person to main. He just ekes so much out on the map, is very versatile, surprisingly good in defensive situations because of the stand aside. He's got a really good on-demand steroid if you can catch the axes. And, you know, like Cassiopeia Poison, does so much damage with his uptime if you mechanically can play him.
Yeah, it's actually funny to look at Snake's comp and realize that as far as standing damage output goes, very high as far as Cassio Draven goes. So we've seen the neutrals already. They're kind of melting to the damage just from Cassio, honestly. They line up a good team fight as well. If OMG can't find their displacement ultis in the right place or get onto key targets, they will melt with all the damage. And Crystal goes back. Berserker gives the longsword, already moving into probably that brutalizer.
Yeah, it's just going to come through in incredibly quick timing now because, you know, once again, it looks like you're holding him down. He's sitting on a Bloodthirster only. It's 12 minutes in the game. One kill is all it took, and you saw how much they were willing to burn for it. They burnt the flash. They burnt the ultimate coming through from Janna, and when it all said and done, that's a lot to invest, but it's definitely worth it.
You can see Uzi kind of on the other side of that as well. Burnt everything he could to not die to the Draven, and unfortunately still went down to Crystal. So you going to keep the wave pushed out here as OMG actually grouping together, trying to force the issue here. Maybe looking for a gank in the mid lane, but Ella actually ready to peel you away to safety.
Yeah, and the thing is right now is you've got a fairly tanky Cassiopeia. Sure, she's got low base health, but she's already got the Abyssal Scepter coming through there, and if you're ganking with a Gragas, you're ganking with a Nautilus, it's all magic damage.
And we've seen it from Dade, actually. I think when he plays Cassio, much prefers that Rylai's build, loves to go a bit tankier. So like you said, lots of build options for Cassio. We saw basically pure damage from Cool in game number 1. Bit more defensive here for you in game number 2.
Yeah, and I like the comparison because you and Dade are very much consistent damage mid laners. They go things like Mercury treads because they like to stay alive as opposed to just get all their damage out by flashing forward. So definitely agree that the stylistic choice is there, and that's what Abyssal does for you. If he goes towards something like Rylai's, I really wouldn't be surprised because the consistent damage is so high without Cassiopeia, in the team comp I mean, not just Cassio, without Cassio committing to such a brutal build if she does get caught out, because you've got Flandre, Hecarim, especially the tanky build, lives forever in these team fights. Very hard to cut down, will do consistent damage. You've got the Draven. Even Rek'Sai does a surprising amount of consistent damage, so that's all going to be there for the Snake lineup.
Yeah, and you can see Snake actually transitioning to the top side of the map, going to look to take a tower. They're actually behind as far as towers go, but Crystal going to equalize very quickly.
Yeah, so he's able to chunk that one down. Doesn't surprise me. OMG have a lot of wave pushing, so Uzi will be able to catch them up in turrets very quickly if he's able to get in a free lane by himself, but the response comes through. 3,000 gold, Dragon up in 30 seconds. Snake will look to take their third.
And honestly, we saw the matchup in game number 1. We thought that Cool might be coming in confident, trying to see if he could get a solo kill, but actually he's done okay in the matchup, but you certainly pressed his advantage. He's 10 to 15 CS ahead most of the time. Good damage done to that mid turret there as well. Crystal actually going to keep the push going. Probably can't take it out quite yet, but maybe most importantly coming through is the third Dragon that will be up now for Snake in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, they're looking to get the mid lane turret first.
Which we're going in a little too early though. Can't quite get the ulti as Crystal didn't have to use flash to get out. Xiang's actually flanked around without his teleport, but looking for another pickoff here. Dissonance to speed them up. Crystal gets slowed down, but OMG not quite fitting those engaged tools together.
Yeah, Zhui actually body slammed a creep, and that's what stopped it from it being a fantastic engage. They look like they will get the dragon here, but Flandre in the top lane has his teleport available.
He's
coming in.
Yep, Flandre coming in early as he always wants to do. Crystal trying to find someone as Beast actually taking too much damage. Gets ulti by Cool. Uzi takes him out as a result. It's 4v5 now for Snake.
Yeah, Transform about to come through for Ji Young, and they're in spot to fight.
Yeah, he's actually Mega Gnar now, so he can threaten with the ulti as well. If Snake can line up a nice wombo between Hecarim and Cassio, they might fancy a 4v5, but very dangerous stuff. And instead, I think have to concede the dragon to OMG.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they don't want to go in for the fight, although Flandre, he always looks ready.
Yeah, he's going in instead. They're actually might going to try and steal it here. Flandre does have smite, but he can't get it. Forced to ult out of the pit instead. And OMG will keep the snowball down for now, taking their first dragon.
That was actually a really smart play from Flandre coming through there. Recognized they couldn't burst him out without the Orianna ult coming through there, and he was the highest on the map, so he tried to get the steal and ulti out of the pit. They will grab the mid lane turret for it.
Yeah, move into there, take out a turret. Might even get two, actually. OMG a little bit slow to react here. I mean, Amazing going to zone them off, but he's not that much of a threat, and that is 2 turrets for a dragon. Smart stuff from Snake.
That was just straight up not good rotations coming through from OMG, and I use the word rotation very sparingly, but they were just beaten through the inside lane, got a shop in instead of going back to fight, and Snake just really outclass them there. Might get the same thing done to them now, though.
Yeah, Beast actually going to get hooked here. Ulti pop by Uzi. Ulti there from Cool. Freight Train on board, and OMG get a kill.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, they're the ones with the inside track on the mid lane. Flandre's going bot without teleport. They'll grab this turret for free.
Going to try and take it out here. He's on about full health, but Uzi going to make pretty short work of that. Shui, good positioning. Going to force you away. He's actually used the depth shot. Ulti coming through. Very nice from Cassio as Ella peels them off as well, but it's not enough to save the mid lane turret. Although, no, not quite. Someone's going to tank it up. Xiang actually diving in. Ulti's you back. That's going to be a kill for Cool. Very nice play from Xiang as Flandre's come back in. Xiang going to get low, but it's not enough to take him out as Cool gets chunked out by Crystal.
Yeah, still going.
Yeah, he's still going, but gets hooked up instead. Now going to get locked down. Damage is there. Pops the heal. Flashes out, but it's not enough as Uzi takes him through. Xiang getting low. Good shield there from Cool though to peel it off. Ella going to go down now as well, and OMG turn it around.
Their team fighting is so on point at the moment. Pastry time. Might be a little bit caught out here, Zhuizhui. No, he will get the ward out. And wow, that was just on a dime, turned the fight around. I thought they'd overcommitted, got a good U ultimate, but then Snake kind of lost their mind. They kept fighting underneath that turret, and OMG, on-point shields coming through from Cool kept everyone so safe. A sick Gnar ultimate meant that they served up you on a silver platter, and unfortunately Draven, without all that peel coming through there, wasn't able to do enough damage.
Yeah, you look down at Ella, who, before the game started, I was going to comment, he's probably the player that rushes Mikhails more than any other player in the world. And when you play with Crystal, I think you can understand why. Last Whisper now just done for Crystal. Bloodthirst has been there as well, but there was just not enough peel there for Crystal to take it out, and he got very greedy.
Yeah, he certainly did. They overcommitted for a fight they didn't need to take. They got 2 turrets for 1 before that. Remember,
and
even if they lost a kill against them, they were still net up in that advantage. Instead, they give away everything they'd built up for. They're still about 2,000 gold in the lead, but OMG now looking very aggressive at the mid lane.
You can see again using their power spikes very well with these items. Cool has his Rabadons. Xiang perfectly tanky here at 1 item. Didn't go any sort of Frozen Mallet or Black Cleaver. Uzi has 2 items there as well. It's again OMG just showing that they know when they can fight.
Yeah, exactly right. But now this might be Snake's chance to go in.
Flandre looking, does have his Frozen Heart, so fairly tanky with his Cinder Hook up there as well. Good items across the board. Again, Snake are still ahead a few thousand gold, but OMG really pressuring to try and take another turret.
Yeah, and it sounds kind of weird, but someone needs to catch a shockwave here, because if that's threatening, I don't think Snake can fight. If Cool pulls a trigger on 1 or 2 people, Snake might be able to run over the top of him, as long as it is not Crystal.
I mean, Xiang poking up, going to build up some rage here. Crystal playing fairly far forward. He has to try and keep the midning wave down, although you will do a nice job clearing it as well. See Beast actually poking around the side, trying to kind of shuffle Xiang away, but good wave in the bottom prep by Snake. Flandre going to collect the top side as it pushes in as well. And OMG, because of all that wave pressure, have to back off.
Yeah, and this is what Snake did. They prepped the bottom wave exactly how you said. That was Flandre down there in the last team fight going through. Meant that OMG had a limited time that they could stick around and try and pressure that, and weren't able to get it done. By the way, Flandre, he's about 70 CS up in the top lane right now, doing a very good job at building up a creep wave against Xiang, and it's because of what we've kept saying. They're prioritizing Xiang as this team fighter, get involved, more utility based. Flandre this split has been all about trying to carry game.
He has, and it's great, honestly, to see Flandre sort of getting back to more of a carry mentality. Yes, he plays well with little gold. He's actually, interestingly enough, very similar to Akon in a lot of different ways. They both prep waves well, they teleport well, they split push well, they play well with low gold, but Flandre, he's a carry player also. That's maybe something that Akon can't quite hold himself to yet.
Yeah, not yet. He plays a certain, wow, no engage coming through. Akon plays some champions incredibly well coming through up there, but yeah, does much more prefer to be the initiated team fighter for his team, whereas Flandre right now looks to be that huge anti-carry coming through. And Dragon is about a minute away. Neither team is really prepped for it right now. Baron is also a serious threat with Cassiopeia on the board, and that seems to be what Snake are prepping for.
I mean, Flandre back down in the bottom as well, already prepped the top wave. He's sort of doing all the wave manipulation just on his own here on the Hecarim, and he's level 14. He's only getting stronger from this stage. Got a Spectre's Cal as well for a bit more tankiness. Teleport's ready to go. I think Snake are more than happy with their position.
Yeah, Snake actually just hard shoved that bottom lane, which means it will bounce earlier. If he had just taken out the range right there, it would have been a slow push and built up really nicely for the turret. But we'll see whether they can make anything happen in the next 1 or 2 waves that are going to come through in their bottom lane. See, that looks like OMG want to recall. That's dangerous position to do so.
It is. I mean, Xiang needs to go shot by the looks of things. Cool as well. as Xiang goes back, gets a couple more tank items, but nothing major here. And Cool, haven't quite spotted him yet, actually didn't recall, so clearly farming a bit more. Dragon up in 10, you can see a lot of pings coming through to the area. But OMG, definitely a different pace from game number 1. Have really slowed it down at about 25 minutes in.
Yeah, they've taken their foot off right now, and it's because of the fact that Cool, he's getting big. They want to continue to get the Orianna up to the point where one shockwave will completely destroy Crystal, and at that point of the game, it really will be much further in their favor. But right now, Snake are the ones that need to force. They need to get in.
I mean, you've got good damage. Shui actually going to get caught here by Beast, Alan, and Crystal. Flandre even coming through as well. Crystal will take him out with Whirling Death, and they're on to Baron.
Yeah, that should be Baron, although Cassiopeia was in base when the catch came through. That's twice that Shui has made the mistake of hitting something as he was body slamming. First it was creeps. This time it was actually a person.
And it was last time when we saw he's Gragas, so we're actually praising it for how good his ultimates are, but maybe body slam needs to be recalibrated. Xiang will find a few too many friends. Flandre comes in with the ultimate.
Wow.
Cool gets locked down and just destroyed by Yu. Xiang's going to get a double now, though. Yu going to get low. Will look to fall, but doesn't go down with all of the shields that are there. Flandre going to get the next kill onto Amazing. Uzi's forced to flash away from Crystal. A double kill for Flandre, and Snake get everything they want.
Credit to Alla to keep Yu alive in the backline. It meant that OMG overstayed, tried to reach for the kill, and in the end got completely torn apart. Now it will be Baron that will come across, and Snake, they look completely different than they did first game.
And we talked about it. When they play from ahead, they look like one of the best teams in the world. When they play from behind, they just look like Snake. As Uzi going to try and take out the Dragon here. Actually, an interesting fight here. Uzi getting a little bit low, but should be able to take it. Flandre's teleporting. He's actually found Uzi out there. Does have a smite. Smites Uzi instead. Finds Shui there
He's
as well.
5 levels higher than the Gragas.
Yeah, I mean, just going to force him off. We'll have a smite back in about 10 seconds, but honestly, doesn't need it. Going to take the Dragon himself.
Yeah, if you're Shui, there is no way you are going near a level 15 Hecarim. He's 3 levels higher than Xiang. He's 2 levels higher than Cool. He is an absolute monster now with the Spirit Visage on top of it, working towards what will be a Trinity Force. He's level 16 now. My God, he is strong.
And of all the champions to get a 3rd Dragon, Hecarim's probably the one that values it the most. He is through the roof as far as power level goes, and we talked about it. Flandre plays well with a little gold, but he's played so well once the map got a lot longer, once he had to manage very long minion waves and very long extended and open waves, but he's navigated perfectly. 240 CS more or less to 146 from Xiang. It's a Flandre carry performance through and through.
And this is a lane swap, and he's going to be the highest CS on the map.
Not bad.
Mind blown.
I mean, that's Flandre. His teleports are always precise. He always is there when he needs to be, but when he isn't, he's just off farming away.
Yeah, so he's had a lot of time by himself, and this is the Gnar that should have been picked for the lane swap to come in, be able to 1v1, really shut down the Hecarim with something like a Frozen Mallet or a Black Cleaver. But Flandre, you see him, the glorious Rainbow Pony, running so quickly. Now with the Phage, he's about 2,000 gold away from completely destroying this game.
Yep, not far from Sheen, and Trinity Force will join it soon after Xiang. 3 levels behind Flandre.
Got him out of the jump.
He's got a Randuin's Omen and a Chain Vest here. Xiang's forced to teleport. Flandre has his ulti. Will just use it there to get the 1v1, and there's nothing Mini-Gnar can do.
Yeah, Mini-Gnar tried to jump right there. The E knocked him out of it, and from there was just no way he was escaping. Burns a 5-minute cooldown in response for just the ultimate with all the cooldown reduction already on Flandre. You see, that's already a quarter of the way through. And OMG, Snake, with this Baron buff, looking to siege in top lane.
Yeah, you can see the Cannon Mini doing work. Uzi will clean it out with a Boomerang Blade, though. Flandre, though, is on the bottom side of the map, split pushing now to try and take out more turrets. And, you know, siege doesn't look great, but split push certainly does. And Flandre, one way or the other, is going to get some work done.
Yeah, he certainly is. And, you know, Crystal, he's gone for the static shift, so more of a crit-heavy build coming in here than we're used to seeing for him. Did used to go the Youmuu's Ghostblade in this item pathing, but instead goes towards that and is able to clear out the waves nice and quickly.
To me, it just feels like another smart adaptation, sort of like Cool's Death Cap or Uzi's Blade of the Ruin King in the last game. It's just like, we're ahead, we need to get more ahead. We're almost 10,000 gold ahead, actually, as we look up briefly. But just be more aggressive, because they want to try and close the game now.
Yeah, exactly right. So getting the most out of it right now for himself. More of a standard carry as he goes in on Uzi. Absolutely chunks him out, even with a shield coming through from the turret. And the standard uptime of the DPS on Snake, they just don't drop off. They don't really have cooldowns that they're waiting on.
No.
Hecarim, Draven, Casio, they're all just spammable champions, and they're going to do work over long periods of time.
And playing this sort of comp is tricky because you have some reasonably brittle threats potentially because they're high damage, but they're also quite squishy. The fact that Flunder is now ascended to absolutely monstrous carry status.
5,000 gold ahead.
That's a lot. I'm no math scientist, but that is a lot of gold.
Yeah, that's like, he's got a quarter, he's got like a major item.
Yeah, a Trinity Force and another half item. That's not bad. As Speed's going to try and take out the Raptors, will win the trade there. Outsmiting Cool, of course, there on the Orianna. And he's had an okay game, has Cool. 4-2 and 3, not too bad. Navigated well on the Orianna. A little bit behind on CS to you, but probably expected given how aggressively Snake had been playing. But again, you much more supportive. Has Azonius actually as his next item to join in with the Abyssal and the Seraphs. Even Crystal's playing a more standard carry because they know the one big carry on this team is Flandre's Hecarim.
Yeah, he's going to dive in there and completely destroy the backline. He's also picking himself up a Gromp buff, which means they probably want to fight relatively soon coming through there with the Hecarim, looking for the teleport you would have to suspect. But yeah, across... Oh, he's got Trinity Force.
Yep, that's what he's going back
for.
Port not quite up yet, but level 18 for the Hecarim. Very glorious indeed. And this is what people are scared of when they think about Hecarim. 2 big tanky items, your Cinderhawk completed, and now a Trinity Force. Flandre now owns this game.
Yeah, he certainly did. And Uzi is not going to have fun. No defensive item coming through yet whatsoever. And he's just going to be completely ripped apart. I wouldn't be surprised unless he spell shields the charge that comes through. He's in very near to one-shot range.
I mean, even then, he just does so much damage when he charges in on top of you. I mean, and that's not to discount the rest of Snake's damage as well. Even Elo, very efficient as far as his items go. We've got an Aegis for Beast working on his Randuins. He's very tanky with the Cinderhawk and a couple of cost division items, but Captain Mobility's done there for Elo. Mikhail's is completed along with the Sightstone. Snake have everything they need to try and take the game wherever they want to from this stage.
Uzi, no. Don't do it.
He wants it. He really wants the farm. He knows. He really knows. I think he's pinged there as well. He's like, please help me. I don't even know if this is enough. It's just amazing. But Flandre thinks about it, but backs off.
Yeah, so he doesn't go for it in the end. Elo was back in base. They weren't really in position to get anything off it, even if it was successful, because he would have been so low. Instead, they back away. 40 seconds up until the next Dragon is available. About a minute until Baron. Just take the whole map away from OMG. Give the blue over to your mid laner. And
nope. Crystal takes it instead. That's an interesting trade, but you know, Crystal gonna take it. Sure.
Why not?
Pops his ulti there as well. See, increased CDR. Absolutely planned. Perfect stuff. As Crystal looking for level 16, Uzi just dinged it as well by the looks of things. And Flandre, now that Uzi's left the lane, gonna just eat the turret.
Yeah, so he's able to take that one out. He has the teleport available. Dragon is up. They will take that away. OMG have no right to be anywhere near it to fight. They just need to turtle this game out for even longer. Cool, he's still in a reasonable spot. Uzi, he's no slouch at this point in the game, but everyone else is just falling further and further behind their counterpoint.
I mean, Xiang, we've already seen how far behind he is. 322 CS to 187 as Flandre is forced to burn an ulti to escape 3 or 4 members of OMG. But that's a 4th Dragon. Baron is back up in under 20 seconds there as well. And Crystal just got himself a nice new BF sword.
Yeah, so he's up there with so much damage coming through. I think he's actually been sitting on that for a while. I think he has the Infinity Edge as soon as he goes back to base. 1,700 gold coming through for him. But, you know, the one thing I will say about Xiang, he's got a smart item build. There is a lot of physical damage coming through there, so he's got the Thorn Mail on top of everything. And all he needs, this is the best thing about playing Gnar, 1 Gnar ultimate.
Yep.
That catches 3+ members is going to be great things, but Casio, she's going to solo out Baron here with the help of Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Beast just pretty much here to tank his use. Actually burned through all his mana with a blue
now
buff.
This is dangerous because if they get there in time, they actually backed away. They don't know they're doing it. I was going to say, if they got there in time, that was OMG's one window to look into fight.
I mean, Flandre had port, but he was down in the bottom side. But you can see with the gold in and how aggressive Snake have been playing, OMG unfortunately do not have the pleasure of that vision because they've not been able to get any work done here. They're going to try and look for a pick. It's Crystal that they want here. Depth charge is popped by Amazing. That's a good flash from Crystal to keep himself safe. And Rek'Sai going to go back in. Uzi going to get turned around. And Flandre dives into the backside, erases Uzi off the rift. And now Crystal's just being unleashed. Beast will chase him down. Flandre zoning everyone. Good double knock up there for Beast is cool. And Shui trying to peel the Rek'Sai away. They'll almost get the kill, but Crystal's back as well. Flandre takes out Nautilus. Crystal's chasing down Xiang. 2 kills already. Flandre going to look for another. They'll try and tower dive. He's a little too slow is the pony, but Snake decisively win that fight.
Xiang just throws Flandre into an inhibitor. It doesn't even really matter. They'll take out the first base turret and maybe even look to move in and try and close out the game, although some very low health bars mean that might be too dangerous.
They've prepped one wave in the bottom already, so they'll be able to try and get another inhibitor turret, but no dice, it looks like. No, never mind. Going to push back with the Baron minions there as well. And goodbye, turret.
Yeah, so that goes down incredibly quickly. They're sticking around.
I mean, you know, Snake, we've talked about their aggression, perhaps over-aggressive sometimes as used, actually a little too far forward. Xiang, no ult, even if he did go mega. Shui trying to line it up, but also no ult. In fact, OMG don't have anything right now, but they'll force Snake out.
Yeah, so they finally chase them away, but in about 4 minutes' time, 5th Dragon, a real possibility coming through here. Snake, they still have Baron buff. They can just send Hecarim into that bottom lane, take out the inhibitor, everyone else top. Really, there are no bad decisions when you are 14,000 gold ahead in League of Legends.
I mean, diving the fountain might be the only bad decision, but even then, Flandre might still get a kill. And you can see a more of Malmortius is his next item.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that 5 members of Snake can dive the fountain once this game and get away with it.
Cool. No, Uzi, sorry, going to get a red buff. Flandre's found in the good spell shield, though, from Uzi. Keeps himself safe, but Flandre, he really wants to dive, but won't quite go in this time.
Yeah, didn't know where the rest of the members were. Couldn't see Gragas on the map right now. And, you know, gets the ultimate out of Uzi. Means that they don't have it to start a surprising fight, and they'll just move in, take the top turret.
Yeah, you can see just the items in general. Infinity Edge completed for Crystal. Void stuff done now for you. Every carry on Snake has 4 or more items in their tank to tanky as well. Snake have everything at this point. In fact, Flandre gets boosted towards Uzi and just decides to run in. It's a massacre as you takes out Cool. Amazing's going to go down next as well. That's 2 clean kills. Another inhib and Snake, they'll close it out.
Yeah, so this will be the game coming through. Snake really have everything in their power, and 2 very different games coming in this. Wow.
I mean, Uzi still getting dove by Flandre. Fountain lasers there, but Flandre is not dead. Xiang now, the next target gets taken out by Beast. Minions are diving into the fountain. Crystal is as well for a bit of fun. Snake chasing a couple more kills, but they'll eventually take the Nexus.
Yeah, and this is the thing about an inexperienced lineup. Game 1, amazing and Shui. We complimented their play. Game 2, wow.
We talked about the 1v5 fountain dive. A triple kill actually for Gragas towards the end.